And Secretary of State Antony Blinken gave an update on those high-stakes talks with the Russian foreign minister earlier on GMA. Take a listen.
You said there were no breakthroughs this morning, but what did you achieve specifically?
George, we didn't anticipate there'd be any breakthroughs, but what we were doing is testing whether there is still a path forward for diplomacy, for dialogue, to resolve a crisis that Russia has created by massing 100,000 forces on Ukraine's border and threatening to renew its aggression against Ukraine. And so in the last couple of weeks, we've been engaged in intense diplomacy, including conversations with Russia, directly with the United States, at NATO, at the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, among allies and partners. And based on that, President Biden asked me to meet today with my Russian counterpart, Foreign Minister Lavrov. We had an opportunity to look at where we can go next in this, and I think we at least have some opportunity to continue to work to resolve this diplomatically.
Bottom line, are we closer or further away from war?
You'd really have to ask President Putin. It's ultimately going to be President Putin who decides what Russia will do. But here's where we are. Based on what we've heard in the last couple of weeks, we will put in writing both some deep concerns that we and other allies and partners have about Russia's actions, not just with regard to Ukraine, but more broadly when it comes to things that it does that threaten security. We'll address some of the concerns that Russia has raised with us, and we'll put some ideas on the table for how we might actually strengthen each other's sense of security going forward. And then based on that, and based on Russia's response, we anticipate that we'll get together again across the table and see if we continue to advance this through diplomacy. But, George, at the same time that we're doing that, we're also very conscious that Russia continues to have these forces on Ukraine's border. It continues to strengthen them. It continues to take steps that are escalatory, not de-escalatory. And we will continue to do what we've been doing, which is building a very strong, united response from allies and partners to any renewed Russian aggression.
Even if it's, to use President Biden's words, a minor incursion into Ukraine?
We've been very clear with Russia that any Russian forces going into Ukraine constitute an invasion that will be receiving a very swift, united, and severe response. At the same time, based on history, we're acutely aware of other things that Russia does, short of actually sending uniforms into another country to try to destabilize it, topple its government, hybrid actions, cyber attacks, etc. I made equally clear to Minister Lavrov that we will respond to those too in a swift, severe, and united way, but that is proportionate to what Russia does.
And thanks to George and Secretary Blinken for that interview. Let's bring in ABC News political director Rick Klein for more on this. So, Rick, it appears neither side is backing down here. What do you make of this?
Yeah, Kira, I think this trip has been designed to try to find whether there is some kind of a path toward de-escalation. I think it's telling that Secretary Blinken says that everything now is on Putin because that really is the lay of the land. And after President Biden at his news conference the other day suggested that a minor incursion will be treated differently, we've seen the last 48 hours spent by the administration to try to explain that no, not really, and that any kind of aggression is going to be viewed as such. You see the Russians seeming to lay the groundwork for what would amount to an invasion, however they do it in terms of efforts in their parliament or efforts by Putin directly, military or non-military. All of it is adding in the same direction. I think Secretary Blinken trying to test the waters a bit and recognizing that they aren't that hospitable at the moment.
Well, these talks are part of President Biden's push for what he is calling a new era of relentless diplomacy. We're hearing the language, but it doesn't seem that there have been any concrete outcomes yet. Is that to be expected?
Well, it's hard to know what things aren't happening as a result of those efforts. But Putin knows how to get people's attention. He's clearly gotten the world's attention in this instance, and this is an attempt by the administration to try to push back. I think the view in the administration is that as long as people are talking, that that's better than any alternative, and at least you're delaying any action. But the way that the Biden administration has chosen to play this, putting all the cards essentially on the table, saying, listen to the intelligence, this is what we expect. President Biden even laying out in public what the potential consequences would be, even at one point seeming to climb inside Putin's head to explain his motivations. It's all designed to try to smoke this out and call what might be a bluff, but it would be a bluff with a lot of consequences for human lives and for the territorial integrity of Ukraine if it gets to it. At the same time, Biden knows that he needs to keep the world community together, and that not all actions are going to be treated equally by NATO members even. So this is it's a delicate time that's testing President Biden at a time of particular political weakness domestically.
It's interesting you say getting inside Putin's head. So many world leaders would like to do that and know what's really going on, Rick. You know, you talk about delayed action, but the U.S. and NATO allies are providing more weapons to Ukraine as we speak. How significant do you think that is? And could Russia see it as an escalation?
Yeah, no question. I think the history with Vladimir Putin is he'll take anything as a provocation, publicly say, look what they're trying to do, and it amounts to the kindergarten version of no, he started it type of fight. And I think that is a concern, but I think it's also a concern to be seen as being flat-footed or not helping the Ukrainians, particularly in light of what President Biden said the other day about the minor incursion. You saw how the Ukrainian president responded to that, really, really upset about that, and I think causing problems for him domestically with other allies. So it all adds up to what could be a tense couple of days in the area.
Yeah, we'll be following it. Rick Klein, thanks so much, Rick.
Thank you, Kara.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.